Hujambo, brothers and sisters. Hujambo, Shalom, and Hotep. I just wanted to make a brief video because I wanted to share the importance of us as parents to teach our children everything about us, everything about our ancestors, and everything about our ancestors' past glory. We cannot rely on the public school system, or any other schools for that matter, to teach our children our, about our people and about our past. We can't rely on that because they're not going to do it. That's up to us, brothers and sisters. That's up to us. So what does that mean? That means that we have to be well versed in our own history so we can teach our children our history, and so we can teach our children about their ancestors. Because if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat your past issues, troubles. You're doomed to repeat. So it's imperative for us as parents and adults to know our history. It is extremely imperative for us to teach our children about us, teach our children about our ancestors, and teach our children about our history. Because it seems to me that the public schools only teach about slavery, and they really don't talk about that. Okay, it's like anything negative, they won't speak on. They'll speak on the negativity, but anything positive, they won't speak on it. And I think I know why. I think because if you teach a downtrodden people like us our past glory, then that will give you some sort of incentive to do better and and rise up and become strong and try to reclaim that past glory. And they definitely don't want us to do that, family. They don't want us to do that. They want us to stay in the condition that we are in right now. And that condition, brothers and sisters, is not good. It's not good at all. This is 2017, y'all. And it's time for us as a black family to do better, especially by our children. And we have to teach our children the things that they will not teach in school. We have to. Now I'm going to give you a brief history lesson for this video right here. It's going to be real brief, but I want to talk about somebody that you probably don't even know, probably not even aware of. This brother that I want to speak on this video is one of the best kept secrets in the black community. First of all, let me ask y'all a question. Who is the first president of the United States? Who is the first president of the United States? Now, we were taught in school that George Washington was the first president of the United States. But that's not true. I'm going to share with you this evening on who was the first president of the United States. Also, being that Barack Obama is on his way out the White House, him and his lovely family, how many of y'all think that Barack Obama was indeed the first black president? I'm quite sure everybody's going to say that because you don't know your history. So if you say yes, Barack Obama was the first black president, I would have to tell you that you are wrong. Barack Obama was not the first black president, and George Washington was not the first president of the United States. I'm going to tell you in this video who was not only the first president of the United States, but the first black president of the United States. Do you know who that was, family? His name was John Hanson. John Hanson. Don't take my word for it. You can go do your own research. We got all sorts of tools in this modern technology age that we live in where you can do your research. Do your own research. And then you can come to the same realization that I've come to. The name is John Hanson. George Washington, as I said, was not the first president of the United States. In fact, the first president of the United States was John Hanson. Now, don't go checking the encyclopedia for this guy's name because you're not going to find anything. And if you find anything, you'll be You'd be hard pressed to find anything about the brother. Okay, but anyway, make a long story short, the new country was actually formed not in July the 4th, 1776, as erroneously taught in school. The new country was actually formed on March the 1st, 1781, with the adoption of the Articles of Confederation. This document was actually proposed on June the 11th, 1776, but not agreed upon by Congress until November the 15th, 1777. Maryland refused to sign this document until Virginia and New York seceded their western lands. Maryland was afraid that these states would gain too much power in the new government from such a large amount of land. Once the signing took place in 1781, a president was needed to run the country. John Hanson was chosen unanimously by Congress, which included George Washington. In fact, all the other potential candidates refused to run against him, as he was a major player in the Revolution and an extremely influential member of Congress. As the first president, Hanson had quite the shoes to fill. No one had ever been president before, and the role was poorly defined. His actions in office would set precedent for all future presidents. He took office just as the Revolutionary War ended. Almost immediately, troops demanded to be paid. As would be expected after any long war, there were no funds to meet the salaries. As a result, the soldiers threatened to overthrow the new government and put Washington on the throne as a monarch. All the members of Congress ran for their lives, leaving Hanson as the only guy left to run the government. He somehow managed to calm the troops down and hold the country together. If he had failed, the government would have fallen also, almost immediately, and everyone would have been bowing to King Washington, King George. In fact, Hanson sent 800 pounds of sterling silver by his brother Samuel Hanson to George Washington to provide the troops with shoes. They didn't even have shoes. Hanson, as president, ordered all foreign troops off American soil, as well as the removal of all foreign flags. This was quite a feat, considering the fact that so many European countries had a stake in the United States since the days following Columbus. Hanson established the Great Seal of the United States, which all presidents have since been required to use on all official documents. President Hanson also established the first Treasury Department, the first Secretary of War, and the first Foreign Affairs Department. Lastly, he declared that the fourth Thursday of every November was to be Thanksgiving Day, which is still true today. What is on the back of the $2 bill? The back of the $2 bill has an engraving of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. In the image is a man who has dark skin and wearing a powdered wig while sitting at the table just to the left of the men standing at the center of the engraving. This dark-skinned man is John Hanson. In his position as president of the Continental Congress, in the original painting hanging on the U.S. Capitol Rotunda, the dark-skinned man does not appear. They erased it. The Articles of Confederation only allowed a president to serve a one-year term during any 3-year period. So Hanson actually accomplished quite a bit in such a short time. 6 other presidents were elected after him. Y'all didn't know that, did you? 6 other presidents, including Hanson, before George Washington. And they are Elias Boudinot, 1783, Thomas Mifflin, 1784, Richard Henry Lee, 1785, Nathan Gorman, 1786, Arthur St. Clair, 1787, and Cyrus Griffin, 1788, all prior to Washington taking office. So what happened? Why don't we ever hear about the first 7 presidents of the United States? It's quite simple. The Articles of Confederation didn't work well. The individual states had too much power and nothing could be agreed upon. A new document was needed to be written, something we know now as the Constitution. And that leads us to the end of our story. George Washington was definitely not the first president of the United States. He was the first president of the United States under the Constitution as we follow today. And the first 7 presidents are forgotten in history. They are forgotten in history, family. So there it is. That's a history lesson for you today. This is a history lesson that you share with your children. Teach your children who was the first president of the United States and the first black president of the United States. The next time your children have a report to do on a famous person, have them watch this video and have them do a report on President John Hanson. President John Hanson, the first president of the United States and the first black president of the United States. I guarantee y'all, if y'all did that, you had them white teachers in there blushing. They'll turn beet red in their family. I guarantee you they will. They will. But you know what, though? A lot of them probably don't even know the history of John Hanson. So you might give them a history lesson as well. So who knows? But anyway, teach these things to your children, brothers and sisters. Teach these things to your children. And by the way, now that I'm thinking about it, like I said a minute ago, John Hanson's on the back of the $2 bill, which is probably why, if I was a betting man, that's probably why you don't see too many $2 bills anymore, because people are beginning to wake up to the fact that there was a black man on the back of the $2 bill, and his name was John Hanson. He was the first president of the United States and the first black president. People are waking up. Slowly but surely, people are waking up to that fact. And me making this video, giving you this information, I hope that I will wake you up to the fact of who John Hanson was. Give you a little history lesson, something that you didn't know, something that you can take and share with somebody else. Hopefully you take this video and share it with others, the importance of who John Hanson was. And like I said during the video, his actions set the precedent for all other future presidents. See, I think another reason why they put John Hanson in that position was because the nation was new, was a new country, and as previously stated, the rules or the how the office was supposed to be ran was poorly defined. So I think they used the brother as a guinea pig, so to speak. They wanted to see exactly what he could do. Okay, because if he failed, then they could all point fingers. Look at John Hanson. Look what he did to the country. He failed. Just like everybody's saying now, well, not everybody, but a lot of people who don't like Obama saying how poor of a job he's done. Okay, well, they probably said the same thing about this brother. They sat back and they watched him operate. They watched him operate. Okay. And they saw everything he did, and they took that as a lesson on how to run the government in the future. So in essence, he was like a guinea pig. They watched him and every move he made, and they guided themselves accordingly. That's what I think. But like I said, you don't see the $2 bill in really anymore, and I think that's the reason why. Now they're talking about, in 2020, putting Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. Okay? I guarantee you, now I don't know what the reasons why the government wants to do that, but I guarantee you it's nothing good. It's nothing good. They don't want to honor us, brothers and sisters. Why would they want to put a black woman on a $20 bill? Now, for us, that's a source of pride, especially to our sisters. They have a strong black woman on any type of U.S. currency. That's a good thing for us. But you have to ask yourself, why are they doing this? Where's the purpose for them doing that? They have to have a reason for doing it. And I guarantee you there's no good reason. And I guarantee you if I was a betting person, once they do that, the dollar's going to crash. These greenbacks are going to crash anyway, fam. It's just a question of when and how. And they might use that perfect excuse. Who knows? Only the future knows. And hopefully we'll be around to see it. All right, brothers and sisters. That's my brief history lesson this evening. Happy Friday to everybody. Hopefully you liked the video. If you do, please share it, like, and subscribe. Peace and love. Kwaheri.